It was devastating. That was the first time I've ever been laid off. That was the first time I didn't know what was next for me because I was always in control, because I always had a plan, because I always knew. I got exactly what I wanted this year, and now it's over.
Hi everyone, welcome to 2025. My name is Rachel McAllister, and this is You've Got Bible. Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Julia. Nice to meet you guys virtually.
If you've never tuned into You've Got Bible is a lifestyle podcast that's rooted in Jesus and the Bible. This is my second season. Thank you. And it's just an honor to have you here today.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
It really is. I'm really thankful. As I was ideating about what You've Got Bible should be and all the things, and I was praying about it, I just felt like interviews and conversations were really necessary in this new year. So we're here. I'm in a new city. I'm in LA today.
It's a lot to celebrate, y'all.
Basically. I'm full-time in Chicago, but what I want us to start with is really all about you. How did you get to LA? We're currently in your place. We're in your beautiful apartment. How did you get here? We met in Chicago in 2022, and somehow you're here. I know.
Oh my God. How did I get to LA?
Yeah.
What's funny is, I think I told you, when I graduated from college, there's a video of me saying, like, I always want to live in LA. After college, I'm going to live in LA. I'm going to do something with marketing. Took longer than I expected.
What does longer than you expected mean?
It means I had a plan. God laughed, and then things went the way they were supposed to be. So now I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So starting, you're from Chicago.
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Chicago. You're Jamaican.
I am.
Wow. Tell me about that. Tell me about being born and raised in Chicago, but also being Jamaican. What was your upbringing like?
It was very, I don't want to say lonely, but I was the firstborn when my family came to the States.
Yeah.
So I was the only kid. I'm the first granddaughter. I'm the first generation. Nobody went to college. Nobody did anything. They just worked to get their visas so that they could stay here.
Yeah.
And then there's me. So my grandparents have 8 children. So my mom is one of 8.
Where does she fall in line with the 8? Is she a middle?
She's 5.
So she's very middle.
Yeah, very, very middle. She's 5. And then she had me when she was 19.
Yeah.
So a year after she got from Jamaica to the States, to Chicago, she had me. It was just me and her. We shared a room. My grandparents raised me. My grandfather named me Julia.
I didn't know that. Where did that come from?
So when he got here, he used to watch this show. It was like a 1960s show called Julia, starring Diane Carroll.
Wow.
She is the first Black nurse on television, let alone first Black woman to have like her own like spot as a star on Black television. And he saw that and named me Julia after her.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super, super cute. And then, I was with my grandparents a lot. My mom was a waitress. She was in nursing school. She was 19.
Yeah. She was hustling.
Yeah, put all those factors together. And then my grandmother was a nanny. So she used to nanny out by, like, the neighbors of Michael Jordan. She used to nanny for them.
Wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
And she would, like, bring me all my clothes and, like, diapers and stuff would come from
them. Wow.
Love them. That's why I have so many pictures of her.
I was going to say, Julia, I'm in her place for the first time, and she has so many pictures of her grandparents. Is that the child on the wall? Is that you? Adorable. You really love your grandparents.
Yeah, they're everywhere in here.
Literally, they are. Are you planning to put more photos of them up, or are you just gonna?
I'm gonna put more up, but they're gonna be like, it's gonna be like a black and white, like, wall gallery.
Wow.
Yeah. The vision's coming slowly. I just got here, y'all.
She's very multifaceted. I didn't say this at the beginning of the episode. She's very creative. Something as I was writing this episode, what came to mind is that I truly believe God made your mind a mind of a genius.
Stop.
I really think so. I'm not just
What do
hyping
you
you.
mean? What does that mean to you? What is genius? What's your definition of genius?
I feel like a genius is someone who is able to untap parts of their mind that the average person cannot.
Okay.
And I really feel like that describes you. You're very creative. You're very interesting. You're very smart.
Oh,
just
I
the
received
things.
that.
Good. You should.
You see how you proud of me? This is my year of receiving, y'all. Refinement and receiving.
Is it? What does that mean to?
I'm more so of a, no, I don't need that. No, thank you. Don't say that. Like, you know, when people give you a compliment, or maybe you don't know, because maybe I'm the only one who does this. People give me a compliment and I'll be like, oh,
okay.
Instead of like, oh, you said that about me? That's really nice. Thank you. I received that. I received that. I'm receiving now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do you need this? No, I'm good. Yes, you do. You need it. You need it. Tell them you need it.
So you're growing. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get that from growing up with your grandparents and your mom? Did they not ask for things? Where did that come from?
No one asks for anything. I read this article, or I don't know if it was an article or video, maybe both.
Yeah.
It says you either grow up in an ask or don't ask household.
That's interesting.
So, for example, your mom comes home and she's carrying groceries, and instead of saying, hey, can you come help me with the groceries?
Yeah.
She leaves them at the door and assumes that you automatically will. So does the people around you ask for help, or do you have to assume that they need help? And the people who can vocalize what they need tend to be more healthier as an adult.
Interesting.
Versus your parents do something, like say they leave a book or something that they need put together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my hair dryer is broken and it's just left on the table. The parent would assume that you know to fix it.
Right.
Instead of them saying, hey, can you fix my hair dryer for me?
Right.
And it really does mess with your like mindset of how you grow up.
That's interesting.
I definitely came from a assume.
So now you're receiving and asking.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing? I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a big deal.
It is. It is, especially when you have friendships and then they are askers.
Yeah.
And you I'm over attentive now.
Right.
So that you don't have to ask. So I assume that you need things.
Right.
We're
actually going to get to friendships in a little bit. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
You're from Chicago. You're Jamaican.
Yeah.
What was your upbringing in regards to church? When were you introduced to God?
Immediately. I have this baby picture. It's not accessible right now. My mom, my grandma, and my godmom, all three of them are lined up in front of the church while I'm being christened. We went to Morgan Park Church of God my entire life. And then once that pastor passed away, unfortunately, I think I was in like high school, we switched to a Jamaican church.
What was the difference between that church you went to initially and then the Jamaican church? And was the Jamaican church somewhere in Chicago as well?
Yes, the Jamaican church was also in Chicago.
Okay.
But the church that we went to consistently, it was American for one, but it was very like community focused. Like my family felt comfortable with them. That's where my mom got married. That's where like a lot of people got baptized in my family. Like that was just the home. Yeah. But it was always like Morgan Park Church of God for the longest.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now that you are in a new place, you're a full adult, you pay your own bills,
everything.
You wash your own clothes, you cook your own food. What does your relationship with God look like now? You look amazing. You're thriving.
You.
What does that look like as like a new decade? You're in a new decade. What does this look like for you?
It looks a little bit more intentional. Like now I'm like, okay, me and God, we're locked in. We're locked in. And it doesn't look superficial. It doesn't look surface level. It doesn't look any particular way that you see on the internet. It's me and him bonding in a way that he talks to me and I listen. I talk back, and even if I don't hear what I want to hear, I hear what I need to hear, and I'm able to differentiate the two.
What does it look like when you don't hear anything? How do you manage that?
When I don't go in talking to him with the expectation to hear anything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm not asking for anything. I'm maintaining a relationship, and in order to maintain relationships, you have to do what? Communicate.
Yeah, I honestly feel the same way. Something that I think I've said this before. I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor. My grandparents took me to church every single Sunday. I did all the youth conventions and all the things, but I don't feel like I actually grew in relationship with Christ until I was really out of college. And I was truly on my own. I was out of the scope of being on a college campus, and I kind of had to make a decision of where I wanted my life to go and what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And that's when it became intentional and was less of following religious laws, if you will, and more of a relationship. Yeah.
Just like any relationship, you have to communicate, check in, remember things about them, remember facts, read things that they send you.
Yeah.
Visit them. It's a relationship. And even though it's a spiritual relationship, you still have to do all those things that require a relationship to maintain.
How do you keep it being a relationship and not feeling like a task? Do you feel like you've been able to master that? Is that something that you even can master?
No, I've not mastered that at all.
Great.
It definitely feels tasky. I know that's not a word, but it feels tasky sometimes because I just don't want to.
That's real.
No reason. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying like, that's how it's supposed to be, but I'm not gonna also sugarcoat my feelings in that. Like, I just don't want to. Am I going to anyway because I care about the relationship? Yes. And that's the difference.
When have you felt closest to God? When have you felt like you guys are on the same page, you're in the same direction? Have you ever felt like a period? Wow, talk about that.
Right now, it's the saying of like, you'll see why God made you wait.
Yeah.
Anytime I tried to create my own plans, I tried to be comfortable in just what I thought I wanted, when I valued the luxury apartments and the ideal job and the freedom more than God's plan for me, none of that stuff worked out.
Good job. She's learning. We all have our things.
Yeah.
We all have our things.
None of that stuff worked out.
Good job. Amazing.
And I had to release control. And it took 3 years. 3 years. It wasn't overnight. It was 3 years of
so back in 2022, you would say. Okay, so we're actually going to pivot for a second because I actually want to go back to 2022.
Okay.
As I was saying, I met Julia in August of 2022. We were part of this sports marketing boot camp with the Chicago Bulls, and literally, it honestly opened doors. It changed. It did a lot.
Yeah.
But I remember Julia walked in, and first I was surprised by the number of people that were part of the workshop. I didn't know what to expect. I walked into the room and I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here. But then Julia walked in, and at first, like, the first thing that came to my mind was, wow, I love her outfit. Literally. And then I mean, see what she's wearing right now. Like, that's literally the first thing that came to mind. I was like, wow, I love her outfit. It was August in Chicago, very hot, but
we had to wear the fit anyway.
Literally. So I met her then, and then we actually sat down next to each other. We were at the same table, and then we broke off into groups. And I honestly didn't talk to her again for 3 days, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Until the end day. But we were locked in from that.
From the first day.
Yeah.
That we sat next to each other, and then they put us in different groups. But then we were still like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you need anything? Let's go eat.
Right. Literally.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, one, that's a testament to you. Like I said, we'll get to friendships. But what I really want to ask you is, from that moment with MGP, Marcus Graham Project is what it was, in August of 2022, how did you get there? How did you get from Chicago 2022 to here in 2025 full-time?
Okay. So MGP in August.
Yeah.
That was a week-long boot camp.
Yeah.
So we were together for 5 days straight. From that, I was working. Like, I just moved into my apartment for my birthday in May. So May 2022, I got my apartment downtown, my 1 bedroom with the view.
Gorgeous.
It was so cute. Obviously had a car, like had my own, like everything was good. I became a marketing strategist for a super dope company. And then I did the market grant project.
Yep.
After the project ended, I was just like, oh, this was cool. But because I won the...
She did win. I didn't say that. There was an MVP of every boot camp / workshop, and she won ours. And I was so happy for you.
Thank you.
It was so well deserved.
It was a great team. But they had an MVP. And once I got that...
She was the MVP. I just want to make sure everybody knows.
They hurt you.
Okay.
Once I got that, I was automatically put into the you're going to LA for this 6-month boot camp bucket.
With the same group.
With MGP. It was like automatic. So I didn't have to do anything. It was just like, when it's time to go.
Did you say yes to the opportunity immediately?
No.
Why?
I said no. Because I had my apartment, I had my job, and I wasn't about to move to LA. Everything I wanted, I had.
So what turned your no into a yes?
God.
How? Talk about that.
So fast forward August to November, MGP is calling and they're like, are you coming to LA? We got your spots. You have to come. Your clients are General Motors. You're going to be working with Buick and Red Bull and another company, and also MGP. And you're going to be living in LA and we pay for your expenses and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I have my apartment. I can't break my lease. I have a great job. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
I lost my job.
Interesting.
They laid me off. Randomly. Just a random day in November.
They laid you off.
Went into work, went right out. Right out. And
how did you feel that day?
I cried my eyes out. Like, I just sat in the car and cried my eyes out. I'm like, I got exactly what I wanted this year, and now it's over. It was devastating. That was the first time I've ever been laid off. That was the first time I didn't know what was next for me, because I was always in control, because I always had a plan, because I always knew.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to get another job. It's fine. Like, whatever. I don't know what it was. Every time I say I don't know what it was God.
Yeah.
From there, God
but sometimes
basically
it takes
was
like going through situations to be like, what was that? And then realizing it's God that is pulling you in a different direction.
Exactly.
And I think that's like so real to acknowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spot on. Like, from there, God was like, you're going to LA, break your lease. So in 30 days, almost 30 days from like that call of like, are you coming or not? Broke my lease, told everybody I was leaving.
I remember that.
Threw a going away party, January 2023.
She can throw a party, y'all. She can cook too. It was great.
It was so lit.
She had a 1-bedroom. How much square footage was your apartment? 600, 700
maybe 700.
700 square feet. You pack like
50
people in there, but it didn't feel overcrowded. It was just a vibe.
Yeah.
You're a vibes curator.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually take a lot of pride in that, but I enjoy doing that. And everybody came out. They pulled up. People I didn't even speak to like that pulled up, showed up, and made sure they saw me off. And it was the best day. Like, it was the best night. Like, I still remember it like it was yesterday.
It was really honestly amazing.
Thank you.
It really was. Yeah. There were people there that I met that I like fake met, because I didn't really meet them for real until May. Yeah.
Yeah, no. You guys are all in the same room on multiple, I won't say multiple occasions, but
at least on that occasion.
Yeah, on that occasion. Those are my people.
We're going to pivot to friendships now, because clearly, as you can see, Julia loves her friends. She cherishes her friends.
Yeah.
You are someone that truly is a connector of people, is what I'll say. I've actually met some really good, close friends because they were Julia's friends, and she introduced us to each other, which is a very unselfish thing to do, which is very kind to do. I'm just saying, it's very kind to do. When you think about friendship and what friendship means to you, and how you decided who you want in your circle, how did you get to this point?
I think it started at a very, very young age. Like, my friend from like first grade is still one of my friends. I keep them.
You keep them.
I keep them. And If I have to let people go, oh, trust me, they're gone. That's not a problem.
You don't have a problem with that?
No, anyone can go. But the people who stay, it is not easy. It is not something that's being strung on because of time. These are like real relationships, real history. A story is there, but most importantly, like love is there. They are my family. They are people I pray for. Like it's unmatched. Like I can't even explain it. Like my friendships are unmatched.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend who only calls just to check in. And I don't like talking on the phone too much. And she'll just call and just be like, what's going on? And she just lets me talk. Like I can't even ask them about them because she just knows that about me.
Right.
I don't have these guidelines of how friendship is supposed to go.
Yeah.
I accept people for who they are so that they feel safe to be my friend.
Yeah.
And because of that, because there's no pressure and there's no like tit for tat.
Yeah.
It's just smooth. I have my best friends, I have my sisters, I have my brothers, I have my just friends, I have associates, I have coworkers, I have just different types of people. I have my travel friends, I have my spend the night friends, I have my dinner friends, my party friends. My party friends won't be my travel friends sometimes.
Yeah.
My spend the night friends, I probably will never spend the night at your house, but we can go out to dinner.
Yeah.
I have my boundaries. And because I have my boundaries with people, I can pick and choose the way I want people in my life.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like I should like have applause here. I would consider like God to be like my greatest friend, and then everything else to flow from it. And I think something that you said was really interesting because you said that, you know, you don't have certain expectations, and to maintain a relationship, like what I heard from you is that it does take hard work, it does take consistency, and it does take in some way humility.
Yes.
I would say sometimes when we place expectation on what we think we're deserving of from God and that doesn't come, it can create a rift, and not from God's side, but from our side, because we're disappointed that he didn't provide something for us that we expected him to give to us.
Yes. Especially when, not even especially, when you feel like that and then you try to force it anyway, it still won't work out.
Have you done that?
No.
Wow. What's kept you from trying to force something anyways? Like what has kept you, you know, I'm just going to let God do this?
Authenticity is very important to me. Like very important to me. I've been through all types of situations where people just don't like me because they view my life as a world they just want to be a part of and have access to, versus actually like valuing me. And because I know that and have said that to them and decided not to move forward as friends, they hate it. But it also stemmed from my childhood. I couldn't spend the night at anybody's house.
Oh, I couldn't spend the night at anyone's house either. My mom would not let that happen.
No.
She would not. Unless it was my cousins.
Yeah, they would have to come to my grandmother's house and it was 10 people there. Like it was just always something, but they just were just like, no, they're not your friend, they're not your friend, they're not your friend. And then other people would have to prove that they are my friend. Like no test or anything that I can like say right now.
Yeah.
But in order for me to consider you a friend, we would really have to be locked in. Like we would have to, some trauma or something at the time would have to happen for it to be like, oh, this is my girl. Like we're locked in now. And I had to look back like, you cannot trauma bond with people. And people don't have to prove themselves to you either. Like, why are you taking that toxic Jamaican, drilling into your head and applying that to others? And I just stopped doing that.
When?
I just stopped. 3rd, 4th grade.
You just stopped?
Yeah, I just stopped. 2003. If I have to be alone in this world, so be it. The right people will find me. And they did. They did. All 50 of y'all.
There's a Bible verse that I like. It's Proverbs 17:17. It's written by Solomon, and it says that a friend loves at all times, but a brother or a sister is born for adversity. And what you just said about you don't necessarily have to trauma bond with someone to be their friend. What I love about friendships, and especially friendships with you, is like we didn't have a trauma bonding type of friendship experience. However, with that being said, when I was facing times of adversity, you were there, and vice versa. And I think that's a true testament to what friendship is.
Yes.
And I just think that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that like speaks to who you are as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same for you. I think when we least expected it, we both showed up for each other.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we met and then FaceTimed every day and texted every day.
No.
Like it was just God.
Yeah.
It was just God. It was just like, this is Rachel, this is Julia. I don't know. We didn't know at the time what it would be or why we met that day. Mm-hmm. There were 20 people there that we could have connected with, or we could have just not connected after those 5 days and just left it there.
Yeah.
But we stayed.
Yeah.
And two people who choose to stay in each other's lives and like not necessarily fight through anything. We didn't have to fight through anything, but just choose to be there.
Yeah.
Like I wanted you to win, and I wanted to see you successful. Yeah. And I also wanted you to thrive in Chicago.
Thank you.
Like I wanted you to feel comfortable here. I didn't want you to feel alone here. Like it was just my thing of just like, I like her. She has to win. She has to have community, and she has to feel safe. Those are like my things, and I want to share that with you.
Thank you so much. I truly I truly felt that from you, and I still do. Like even though you're not in Chicago anymore, like I still feel that way.
Okay, good.
I really do. So thank you.
Of course.
Okay, we're gonna pivot. So, as someone who does so much, and I would love for you to share with us a little bit about what you do. Okay. As someone who does so much, and also pours into people so much, how do you get that oil back for yourself? How do you continue to keep yourself oiled and moving, and how do you continue to pour back into yourself when you're doing so much for others? You do a lot for yourself too, but how do you get replenished? What do you do?
So one, I'm in marketing.
Yeah.
So
do you want to tell them what you do? You don't have to tell them where, but do you want to tell them what you do? She has a very cool job, y'all.
Yes. So I am an advertising manager for a super dope company. And I also have a resource group and agency for Black women in marketing. So that's what it's called. So I'm in marketing basically. And I think with marketing, you have clients and deadlines and due dates and expectations and places to be, and how things look are very important. How things feel are very important. But the psychology behind that, which is why I love this industry so much, is that you have to understand people. And whether people admit it or not, people have to like you. And a lot of people miss that part. A lot of people miss that part. They think that, because they can do the job or because they have a degree, that's enough for them to be whatever their definition of successful is. And for me, my definition of successful looks like God keeping me in places where I'm supposed to be. And in return, I get aligned with people who see my vision as I see theirs. Like he puts us in path for it to work. And then it's my job to say, here's your vision. Let's bring it to life in like the best way possible. And also we happen to like each other. So this feels comfortable and you feel safe to share your dreams with me. Yeah. So that I can make your dreams come true.
That was amazing. You need a TED Talk.
No. Okay, marketing is the thing that will have me talking for 2 years. So she just tapped into that. But
honestly, marketing is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Marketing is fun. I feel like we're finally in a day and age where people are understanding it a bit more. It's not, marketing costs money. Marketing, it costs a lot to create the ads and do the things and host the events and activations and etc. And what I have realized about marketing is you don't always see an immediate return on those things. But what you do see is especially if it's a dope event or something that someone or a dope ad that someone just really feels connected to, they may never purchase from your brand for a year or 2 years or 5 years, but they'll remember that. And one day they could be scrolling on Instagram, they'll see a paid advertisement for something, and they'll be like, you know what, why not?
Yes.
And it's just like, to me, that's just so much fun. Yeah. Because it's like you're playing the long game in so many ways. And I just find I guess I've learned that I don't need instant gratification to feel peace and contentment in my work.
Yes. You see
Yeah.
our faces right now. So, with that, how do you feel like instant gratification has shifted the way people consume like ads and
Mm.
products and brands?
I think there's an upside and a downside to it. One, because people, when you're scrolling or on Google or whatever you're doing, you're just consuming so much information at once, and there's so many different competitors. I work in the sports agency, and
Mm-hmm.
in sports, sometimes it feels like we're all kind of doing the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
like if tennis is the fad this season,
Yeah.
every brand is going to get
It's
on
got yeah.
tennis. And it can be really hard to honestly fight through all of the consumption that people are having.
Mm-hmm.
And then additionally, it can be difficult because say you work for X company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use tennis as an example again because I just work in sports,
Yeah.
but and your company, it's during a large tennis tournament and maybe you have a beverage coming out around that time. Your job is to make your beverage relevant to something that it wouldn't be relevant to.
Yes.
And that can be really challenging and difficult,
Yes.
especially when you're trying to get through the noise of every single other brand trying to do the same thing and every single other brand trying to make you trust them and make you see them as authentic as a part of that moment. And that is really hard.
No, I love that you said that because what I love about the company that I work for, and I'm very intentional in like paying attention to why brands do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about my company is that we don't care to be the popular product.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about getting it in your face and
Yeah.
like, oh my God, take a picture of such and such drinking it.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Mm.
We care about bringing like ideas to life
Mm.
and just expanding the culture and expanding sports and
Yeah.
expanding like what does it look like to amplify that tennis game
Yeah.
outside of the product.
Yeah.
What does it look like for the tennis player to be signed?
Yeah.
And then we expand like her vision.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I find the drive in doing more than just selling. And that's what marketing is to me. Like it's true psychology.
Yeah.
What does this small placement, this small ad, this intentional moment that you didn't even think of, like what does that do for you?
That's so good.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah. Me too.
Wow. I really love my job. I'm really happy.
I love our job.
You also mentioned your manager, someone that you work with, said that you bring a lot of peace to the group. You're just very peaceful.
Yeah.
And it could be for a plethora of reasons, but I truly believe like that's something innate that you have. Do you want to speak on how you got that, where that comes from?
It's not easy, but I'll be honest though. It used to come from just not liking people.
Okay, yeah, talk about it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like
yeah,
I don't like you, or so nothing you do can disturb me. Like it's my world to protect my peace.
Yeah,
I have to control what's in my world.
When did you pivot from that, or when did you pivot from that ideology as to who you are today? Yeah,
I think it was like I can't pinpoint the exact moment because I think peace comes with years. I think it comes with appreciation. I think it comes with your relationship with God. I think it's a lot of factors that determine peace. And for me, peace is just like, it's not about like, obviously stuff is still going on.
Yeah.
Like things still suck. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But peace comes from just not needing validation. It comes from my relationship with God. It comes from me being happy with myself and just deciding what I deem successful. And once I understood those four things, it was like nothing can hurt me more than like my grandfather passing. Like what, like when you think about life, and you just sit back and you're like, oh my God, this person doesn't like me and work is so hard.
Yeah.
Like really, and I just decided to prioritize appreciation for life.
It sounds like you have gotten into a point in your life where, regardless of the circumstance, you're able to find contentment.
Always. Phrased perfectly. Always.
Thank you.
Like, I don't want or need for anything outside of my relationship with God and for my siblings to be happy. Like, they're flourishing, I'm good. My grandmother's good, I'm good. There's nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. And that just radiates through me. In moments of chaos, I enjoy being calm because you cannot rush me. I stopped rushing. That changed my entire life. And that just happened a year ago.
What would you tell someone that's listening to this right now that finds themselves in a pattern of complaint, a pattern of feeling like maybe anxious a lot, a pattern of feeling like they don't have control of things? So if they don't have control of things, they might want to give God control of things, but they're uncomfortable with that. And so they get anxious, and then they start complaining, and then they go through this circle and this habit and this cycle of just dealing with this, and they can't find contentment because they're always looking and trying and doing, and things aren't working out the way that they want to. What do you say to them?
No, I've been there and I get that. I would say don't just go to the Bible and look at the verse. Be anxious about nothing, but in all things be in prayer. But easier said than done.
100% true.
Easier said. You can highlight that verse. You can repeat it every day. I repeated it every day for a year straight. I wrote it on a sticky note and put it on my mirror. And all I did was drive myself crazy and telling myself, I'm not supposed to be like this. I'm not supposed to be like this. I'm not supposed to. You're not supposed to be anxious. What does the actionable step look like? And for me, that was therapy. That was feeling through how I was feeling. That was acknowledging that I am anxious. So what makes me, and then that was me finding what makes me calm. So when I realize that I'm calm, what are those things? When you're talking to somebody, how do they make you feel? When you're in certain rooms, how do you feel? And compare that to when you are anxious. Are you anxious when you're alone? Are you anxious when you're at work? Does someone's name popping up on your phone drive you crazy? The things that make you anxious need to be highlighted, just as the things that make you calm need to be highlighted. And it's easier said than done.
That was so deep.
I have a lot more, but I'm gonna relax. This is coming from Anxious Julia 4.0. My God. Like, I'm an anxious person. Rushing, anxious, overthinking, premeditating thoughts, thinking I know everything. It's a long list. That takes years to check off. And you slowly just like gotta just beat at it. Like, you gotta talk to yourself, girl, what's wrong with you? Fix it. Fix it. Find your peace. Find your calm space. And it's not always gonna be when you want it to be, where you want it to be. People are like, oh, once I get this job and get this apartment,
once I move to this place,
I'll be calm and happy.
No.
You internally have to be that, so that when you get there, or so that you can appreciate where you are now, and that when you get there, you know how to flourish.
I think God will put us through certain situations that are uncomfortable, that make us feel all of these things, the anxiety, the fear, that bring up things in us that need to be confronted. And He'll put us in certain situations so that we can confront those things. And I don't know, I find that to be kind of beautiful. If Jesus Himself couldn't go through this life and be on this earth without having to go through trials and turmoil and pain and suffering and people hating Him, and people, His closest friends, turning against Him, and people slandering His name, and literally being physically beaten to death. If He Himself couldn't, literally, if He Himself couldn't go through life without the pain. And you know what? I'll even take it a step further. Before He died on the cross, before He was crucified on the cross, He did ask God, please take this cup from me. I'll do it, but I don't want to feel the pain of this. Please take this from me if it be your will. And it wasn't God's will. But He still said, your will be done. Anyway. Regardless. And so if Jesus himself had to go through pain and
Mm-hmm.
suffering, if he couldn't be on this earth without that, I think to myself sometimes, how dare you be upset that you have to face certain inconveniences,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like, I'm going to confront them. I'm going to try to work through the emotions and feelings. I'm going to pray about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to be angry or upset with God for putting me through things that honestly, when I look back on it, I'm so grateful for because of the growth and how they've allowed me to be who I am today.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. That's growth. And you're still so young, and that wisdom comes with time.
Yeah.
And even as you continue to grow into yourself and like your new journey back home, like you still will find that, and like things are going to happen the way they're supposed to, not necessarily the way you want them to.
Yeah.
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 And being able to appreciate it anyway. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
2025 just began.
Mm-hmm.
We're in January, almost in February. My question to you is, you just moved into this new place. You have this amazing job. You're Julia in LA. You're Cali-fied. Like, what is 2025 for you? What does it mean?
Like I said, I'm going to circle this back to the beginning. This is the year of refinement. Refinement.
Can we go into that?
It's not, it's not wanting new things, and it's not getting rid of old things.
Yeah.
It's just sparkling the things that I have. It's tweaking it. It's appreciating what I already have and making it better. All the things that are already within me and making it better.
Yeah.
And just fine tuning, like when that old record player starts beep, 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 like it scratches. Yeah. And all you need to do is take a little oil and wipe that pin off. And then it plays beautifully. It just needs to be refined.
Have you ever thought of writing a poetry book?
I actually did.
Are you serious?
In college. And then I wrote 2 books. That's so funny that she said that. I never told any. Actually, only one person knows this. This is my crazy
now y'all know.
Now y'all know. I wrote a poetry book. I used to write poetry. Like I took a poetry class in high school. And I used to write and like read poetry a lot. But in that, it gave me the storytelling aspect. And I mentioned the book stuff because that's how I fell in love with marketing.
Wow. I didn't know that you did that.
Yeah.
Where are they? Are they here? Is there a paper copy?
No, they're on my Google Drive. They're on my Google Drive. My old Google Drive. I'm not even logged into that anymore. Wow. My God. Yeah.
You're so like, you really are multifaceted. There's really nothing you can't do.
Thank you. I just enjoy creating. And I have to find ways to express myself because I enjoy expressing myself privately, but I enjoy expressing myself. Sometimes I'll share it. But other than that, like if it's really important, like the books and my family and like certain aspects of my life, it's all private.
Wow. That takes a special kind of person that's actually able to hold in certain things without like telling the entire world before you've even matured it.
I think we all should know less about each other.
Really? Wow.
And people hate when I say that, but I think
what does that mean? Tell us.
The internet has made it so that shame doesn't exist anymore. So you no longer have like a standard for yourself because you think that you should tell everybody everything and then expect not to be judged. But shame, standards, and who you view yourself as matters. And I will never get rid of those things.
Yeah.
So because I'm going through something, it doesn't mean the world should know. But also when I'm not going through something, it also doesn't mean the world should know. So your lows and your highs, obviously you can pick and choose when you want to share them.
Yeah.
If you're a content creator, obviously you can share and like do it for inspiration. People tell me all the time, like, talk about your journey. No. Me and God know. And then moments like this, I can open up a little bit where it makes sense. And God has put me in rooms where I should share in moments like this. But if it didn't come from God, or if it has malicious intent, or I just don't feel safe in general sharing, I won't. And I don't feel safe on the internet. So I have to express myself creatively in whatever that looks like privately until I feel comfortable and like safe enough to share.
I feel like when it comes to even like sharing testimonies, and testimonies usually come from I was this or I did this and then now I'm this, or God has delivered me from X, Y, and Z, which does help other people become delivered. But what I've realized too, even with sharing things online, is one, you don't need to share everything like you said. And two, sometimes the person or the people that God needs you to reach, they're not gonna find your page. Sometimes you actually have to go out in real time, in real life, IRL. And be that light and be that disciple and be that guide and be that support for somebody.
Yes.
As much as social media is so amazing and great and I'm so thankful for it, I think sometimes we miss that truly interpersonal in life connection with people when all we're doing is posting or always scrolling. And it's like, it just, to me,
it warps your brain.
I think so. I really think so. I think we can sometimes overconsume things. And then I also think, like you said, it can desensitize us to certain things. And we can walk by people maybe that need help, or walk by or do something and not really care because we're so wrapped up on what we saw online, or how we're presenting ourselves online, or thinking about ourselves. And it's like, as important as we are and as amazing as God created all of us to be, I truly believe, like something you've said before, you have kind of proclaimed yourself as a vessel for other people. You pour into people, you help people. And in a way, it sounds like that kind of fills you up as well. And you don't just do that online. Like, you do that in real life. You do that to a stranger like me who you just met on a random day, you know? And it's like, as amazing as social media is, I truly feel like sometimes we miss those things in person when we're so wrapped up in how the world sees us online. When we're living in real life. And we have one life on this earth.
Amen. Like, spot on. Agreed. Especially when, like, the people right in front of you need help. Like, people get in lifts and Ubers and don't even speak. People are walking by kids who are lost and can't even see them. And I watch people become disconnected. Like, and I love social media, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a part of marketing. I have to be there. It's a blessing. Like, it's
to be able to
jobs.
Connect. It's important.
And it's so much fun. Again, it's my way of expressing myself, because that's like my visual diary. Like, I
say the same thing.
I enjoy it.
Me too.
But in real life, people need help.
They do.
People need to be told, hey, have a great day. That's it. Hey.
That can change a lot of things. I feel like, for me, I've kind of, when I go out in public, or even just when I'm by myself, but especially when I'm going out in public, or even when I'm at work, I feel like it's almost, my job isn't just the work that I'm doing, but I really believe that my job is also to be a light of God. And I can even be a light of God when I'm having a hard day or a challenging day. It doesn't mean I'm going to be all in your face and happy and da-da-da-da, but it does mean through my adversity and whatever I'm dealing with, I can still showcase the character of Christ through all of that.
And you do.
Thank you.
You do that all the time.
Thank you. Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
No, you do. She does it all the time. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on in her life. She will still show up for you.
Thank you.
For sure.
That's nice of you to say.
Yeah.
The last question that I do have for you is, looking ahead to December of 2025, I would like for you to speak out to the best that you can in the way that you would like to. Something that you would like to tell the future version of yourself. What would you tell future Julia? It's February 2025 here. What would you tell future Julia in December 2025?
Ooh. Okay. Future Julia, girl, listen up. In about 11 months, your refinement journey will look a little sparkly, because you will hold yourself accountable to the things that you said you were going to do for you. And all that matters is that you're okay with your refinement. If you did everything you said you were going to do, you should be sparkly. If life got in the way and things didn't go the way you saw it, or, God had other plans, you can still continue that journey of refinement. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up on it. Don't change your mind and say, I'm done being refined. I'm just going to, no. Stay the course. Continue to grow into who you want to be.
Yeah.
And just remember that everything that's for you is literally on the way. Like, it's literally on the way. Like, get ready for it.
Amen.
Amen.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you look back and you remember that. I hope you journal this.
Well, I'm going to just watch this episode.
Okay, great.
Like back, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to tune back in and just, yeah.
Did you do it?
Right. Hey. Did you do what you said you were going to do? But also, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So for you, first of all, happy season 2.
Thank you.
That is amazing as you're spreading the word and encouraging people and continuing to be the light that you are.
Thank you.
What do you see for yourself, like, for season 2? Because I know you're bringing people on and you're speaking to people. What do you want people to pull from this when your video pops up online? Ooh. How do you want them to feel whenever you pop up this year?
That's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want people to feel encouraged. That's one. I want people to feel like they're a part of the community a bit more. God does call us to community as much as he calls us to, like you said, refine and do the things that we need to do privately. I think community is something that can truly change lives.
Yeah.
And so I want people to feel community. And really, I want people to feel excited after they watch these episodes. I want them to feel like they can get up and conquer the world.
Yeah.
So I feel like in life we all have a purpose, and there's things that God calls us to do, and we all have different talents that he gives us. And I want people to actualize and walk in the highest and best version of themselves that they've been called to, and to be unafraid to do so.
Empowered.
Yeah, truly empowered. Yeah, truly empowered.
Truly
feel connected to God. Yeah. Truly build a relationship with him, and know that we aren't meant to just sit idly. To be able to do.
Yes. Oh,
I want them to get up and want to run a marathon. That's what I want.
Yes.
And whatever else you need from
and whatever else, yes.
That's just me. That's what I want. What do you want?
Absorb. God is using you the way it's supposed to happen. Like, everyone who needs your podcast is going to find it.
Yeah.
Everyone who's supposed to hear this message is going to find it.
Yeah.
And you have a community of people who's going to reshare and repost and comment.
Thanks, y'all.
And like and subscribe. Anyway, so yes, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for having me as your first season 2 guest.
Yeah.
And I'll come back anytime.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much. That's it. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. Please support Julia. I know we were talking about online and all things. I will put all of her socials and all the things, and especially Black Women in Marketing, in the bio of this, so that you guys can check her out and see what she's doing. If you watched all the way to the end of this and you're a prayer, you can look at her and just say a prayer for her on her behalf. I think that's really important. That's another way that we can reach out to people. We don't have to know them, but we can see them and still pray for them. And so this is the end. I just speak light truly over all of you guys. I pray that you walk into the versions of yourselves that God called you to be for 2025 or whatever year that you're listening to this, and that you know that you are truly not alone, and that seasons are important in life, and you're an important one regardless of what it looks like. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being my guest.
Love you.
And that's it. I'll see you on next episode.
Bye.
So what do you usually do on Fridays though?
I'm in the house. Severance comes on Fridays, which is a show on Apple TV.
Oh, I watched the first episode on the plane. It was so good.
Okay, that's what I do on Fridays.
Your blood makes atonement for my sin, cleanses deep within, and I know that you forgive all unrighteousness.